Hello, hello. Uh, good. This is hello, good evening, and hello. Long time no see. I hope you are well. Congratulations, you made it into our amazing stream tonight, and glad that you are here. Even though that the weekend is coming. So, what are you doing actually here? Where is your free time and relaxing time? Well, you are perfectly at the right place because I will calm you down today. What I've prepared, or if you have never been in one of my live streams so far, let me give you a short introduction what you will see. We usually build something with Flutter and Dart and try to implement new interesting features into existing stuff. At the moment we are working on an onboarding screen and trying to implement it well so that we can reuse it in different apps, or maybe even create out of this app that we currently work on a real full-fledged app on the long run. You know, every week we have 2 hours at the end, and in these 2 hours I would like to show you some tricks and tips that you can use in Dart and Flutter. Mostly you show me tips and tricks and tools that I can use, which is also pretty great. And usually we learn both. Video is lagging, okay, that's not a thing. Very laggy. Huh, that's unfortunate. Let me quickly. Actually, the Mac should not be in too much trouble. It could be that my video performance is bad because of the router. Okay, in that case, what I will do now, so laggy, will be back in super. On the other side now. I really am sitting here for 1 hour now and playing around in the background and looking for the stream if everything works well. I'll get these problems. In the worst case, I have to read the router. Sound is also there. Yep. So. Check everything. So, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That looks good. Stream looks also good. But I can still skip stream frames. Hey Jack, nice to see you. We had some technical difficulties and I'm just checking right now if they are still persistent or if it's gone. So please let me know if I'm really lagging a lot or if you don't see the screen a lot. So that would be amazingly helpful. But until then, if I don't hear anything else, I would just quickly work a bit on it. Bro, you should change your plan because the video is still stuck. Foo. Not possible. Really, that's really Yeah, I can understand. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I can hear myself. That's already pretty good. I'm very sorry for that. Now I have to... That's too loud, I guess. Good. Alright. So that was a fight again. Hopefully that works now. Let's see. I have it in the eye. Hello everyone. Hey Rupak. Hey Deepak. Hey everyone. So quickly, now I work with OBS again, so no fancy animation stuff today. Sorry for that. I have no clue why it is so difficult with Streamlabs. So we use OBS for today. And if it works, I'm pretty happy with it. So that's fine. If we get some errors, I will have it in the eye now. Good. Hello everyone. Welcome back as my second try today. Now in full-fledged mode. So where have I been and what I wanted to tell you? So, okay, welcome to our live stream today. What I usually do in these live streams, we talk about Flutter and Dart, work on different projects together, and we create nice and interesting applications. At the moment, we are working on an onboarding screen. Things that you have to remark is usually the live streams never went like we expect, so it's changing a lot of topics. Sometimes we talk about different things. I will answer your questions in the chat, and thanks to the great community, like people like Deepak or Rupak or whoever is there at the moment, they usually give you fantastic answers too. So when I'm not here, then they will. So usually I'm a very slow developer in that time, so we have Friday evening, right? So we take our time for all the stuff. Usually it's Thursday when we do the live stream. Sorry for the delay here in that case, because I needed to move it. So that's for the introduction. Did I miss anything? Okay, we skipped the plans. You can ask questions anytime. That's perfect. We have now a perfect running live stream. There's even written very good, so perfect. Yeah. So how was your week? I hope you had a fantastic week and you enjoyed your first couple of weekend moments already. Yeah, and as you can see, we have now finally a full-fledged setup because we have now even the possibility to start an iOS simulator, which should even improve our development speed maybe. So that's at least my hope. I quickly switch again. So, and getting a different scene. So now you can see also something. Cool. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that because we finally make some progress with our onboarding screen, and now it's the third session, so maybe we can finish it today. The live stream usually goes 2 hours, and in these 2 hours we can talk about different things, and yeah, cannot wait to start. So if there are no questions at the beginning, let's take a sip of coffee, and while my computer starts to set up the iOS simulator, we can jump into our code. And I think I have to restart this one. Perfect. Nope, don't need Google Translate. So I'll put you there for now. Great stuff. Okay. So where have we been the last time? That's a very good question. I think we were writing something in our GitHub, right? If we check the GitHub repository that we created specifically for that project, then there will be, when we search for NVubi, we will find something very interesting because we were working with this projects part on the side. And the cool thing about it is we can set up our issues, and here we can probably see what we have done the last time. We have made the onboarding with different screens, the texts were there, the images, and the login and register button are there. That's already quite a lot. But now we want to have a translatable body and headline texts in Flutter. All right, let's have a look if we can manage to do that, or are we able to do that? For that, let's, whoa, what's that for a simulator? 3rd generation iPhone, okay. Why? Why couldn't I get the newest one? Is that something new? So it starts already pretty interesting today. So rotate, orientation, erase, debug, window. Simulator, where have it been? I think somewhere here, open, yeah. Okay, we can work on a smaller device. I think that wouldn't be a problem, but I don't see the benefit. I would say let's go to the 13 at least, just to make it a bit newer and look fancier. Put it up here, then you can also see something. Why is it named NWubi? Very good question. It is a collection of community names that I put together in that time when we had working on it. So collecting all the people bring you into the nice little development experience. Cool. All right, so we can see we work already on the first branch, right? And if we take a look into the Git history, we can also reconcile what we have done the last time. So we fixed formatting, fixed Flutter analyze. So clean up to stay consistent with the test renames. Okay, so we made a test running again. Onboarding script looked more at people. We introduced the lower part of the onboarding screen. Okay, so what did we do there exactly? Added the constants and provided, the whole new feature set. Interesting, interesting. So now that the iPhone is running, we can choose development and start the whole thing. And what I also want to check, if I have the time, we would like to go into the project in NWubi. And now let's have a look. We have a failed pipeline again. Probably because of one of our tests or because of the analysis part, right, that we usually do. We can check the actions. And thanks to the very good CLI that we use to create the project, always have an eye on the dropped frame rates, but it looks very good now. Yeah, maybe I should just skip Streamlabs. It's maybe just a bad idea to use. Okay. So why don't we go to the actions here? Finally. So the last thing broke. Why the build? Analyze part. Okay, got it. Avoid relative imports. Okay, in the authentication landing page start. So let's search for it and let's see where we are. Yep, the constants part is wrongly imported. Jump where we need it. What's wrong here? It seems like we would not have made pubget. Constructor cannot be null. Because it's calculated here. Same is for this one. But maybe instead of doing that, let's import first the spacings here, because they are constants, so it takes it and it calculates it, so that's fine. Good. Then let's push that. And I will call it the same thing, and I will do now something very nasty, which we usually shouldn't do. I will commit that, and what I will do is I will squash these two commits. So what does it mean? You can see we have these two commits. They have the same naming, or more or less, so they do the same thing, and they relate to each other. So what I will do is now I will combine these two. That's called squashing. So what I can do in Intellij now or in Android Studio is right-clicking them. Okay, my laptop is going to the moon again. So right-clicking then, say squash commits, and then you can remove one of the commit messages. And what you see is now you get creating something like that with a different history. And because of that, we can push that now, and we push it as a force push. And what happens now is, if we take a look into the history, we change the history and remove one of the commit messages. So with that, you don't have polluted your history too much. You usually should, well, as long as you work on your own branch and your coworkers know that they don't really need to work on your branch, I think that's fine. But it is a little bit of bad practice from time to time. I usually do it when I don't want to pollute the history of Git too much. Okay, so we have the onboarding slides, we have the expanded, decorated box, great stuff. And with that, now the build pipeline should be green again. Let's see. Set up the job, set up Flutter, perfect. Good, and while this is running, we can have a look here. Okay, so that's interesting because of our save area down here. Thank you, Deepak, yes. Can you please share your Intellij settings file? My Intellij settings. I don't even know how, the whole settings. Is that even possible to share? Share settings? Settings sync, second. Ah, maybe in the idea file, right? Workspace, is it this one? Run configuration, libs, code styles. I can do that, Hamish, if you tell me how. And in the meantime, I see that I have the wrong color set, right? It's nice to have dark color, but we want to have one dark, or at least I want to have one dark, and we have it, but it's not applied. Interesting. Appearance, and choose one dark vivid. Thank you very much. Much better. Okay, so what I see is down here, we could actually go to the bottom. We don't want to have the save area on the bottom part. Is it possible to just have the save area for one level? That's, I don't even know. So bottom, false. Beautiful. I love if things work that easy. So what we did is we just set the save area that it is not allowed to take the bottom part as save area. And with that, we have pushed the whole thing to the bottom again, and it looks now a bit more concise. Thanks. Great stuff. Great stuff. Okay, in the meantime, what does the build say? Check coverage. In less than coverage of 100%. Oh no, we didn't have road tests. That is great that we have that, and but it's maybe a bit overkill to have it on 100%. But it's good to know, because now we get forced to write tests even. So this part seems not to be tested. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's this onPressed method that is not tested. Interesting that we get that directly. I like that. So what is this one? 81. 81 is, yeah, this pressed method. Okay, so we have here some to-dos, right? To do, implement and write tests. Same thing for here. Implement and write tests. And that's the good thing about the very good CLI that we used, right? With the coverage, it's maybe a bit restrictive to have 100% coverage, but actually with Dart and Flutter, it should be possible. So let's see. From the Intellij website. I can get the settings from Intellij website. Intellij settings export. Let's see if we can do that. Share IDE settings. Interesting. IDE sync. Okay, I know that. Settings. It allows you to sync any. Expect enable this. Up the Git repository with your settings you want to share. This option is useful if you want to implement the same settings among your team members. Crazy. So I can create a settings repository. Settings repository. What do we see? Autosync, use file, manage IDE settings, settings repo to configure. Okay, file. New project setup. Save project, no. I forgot what I have to select. Use file, manage IDE settings. File, manage IDE settings, export. Settings repository, sync settings with JetBrains account. I know that. Is that? Aha. Share settings through a settings repository. Interesting. That means if I go now and create override remote merge, that means I need now on GitHub. So very sorry, that's exactly what I wanted to say. We usually drift apart from our usual workflow. So create a new repository like FE Intellij or idea settings. Flutter explained Intellij settings. Public, I guess they should do a problem, right? They shouldn't be harmful. So let's don't add a readme now, create a repository. Got that. Perfect. Add that here and override remote. Invalid private key. Great stuff. Let's use what? Merge. My private key is invalid, but I can push. Let's take HTTPS in the worst case and override remote again. Didn't I have a oh. Hamish, you're killing me. So I will switch quickly here, that I can use the create my token. Stars, sponsors, nope. Settings, SSH. Nope, I need token developer settings. Here we go. Generate new password. And let's call that Intellij settings. Expiration. Da. That, no. And I think that's it what we need. So getting the access token, put that in. Perfect. Good. Took a second, but now we have the settings successfully synced. And that would mean that when we go now to FE idea settings, here we go. It's quite verbose, but if you like them, why not? So what I can do then is adding that to our README file. Like to do, add a clear README, but one of them is contribution, right? Contribution. Feel free to contribute to the project. And please use the following settings for your idea. Intellij or Android Studio. Yep. And how to set So, something like that. This part should be still completely on the top. Like that. So, but the problem is with this README file that would now interfere with our _1, right? It's something different. So what we have to do is going to main, checkout, smart checkout, abort quickly because that was stupid. We first want to have that landing screen stuff. It applied now a patch. Okay, fair enough. So we have that here in the shelf now with this and this. Good. Now in our README, nothing has changed and we can create a new branch like mdweather, which is my GitHub username, and with the slash you create some kind of subfolders for some tools, like if you work with source tree, for example, it will show you now on the left side a folder and like a collection of different branches, and so you can compare them a little bit better. And now I add here like improving readme with settings, something like that. And using this shelf message, we unshelf that whole thing, cluck. And with that, we should have our changes back. Contribution, feel free, blah, blah, blah. That's good. Generate it. Make a short list, something like that. And we commit the whole thing. Make a nice icon. We learned here, is it? No, that doesn't work. Sad. Okay, then we have emoji, right? So let's try if that works now. No. No, that's bad. That was better in my other machine. I don't know. I thought we have talked about that. Like I should click twice FN or something and then it's opening up. But I removed that. I remember. Okay. Yeah, sad. Then we don't have emojis. Station. Improving the readme file in order to help contributing the project. Contribute project. Perfect. Commit. 3 errors. Really? Unexpected token. What's that? Adding support. See if by. Aha, that's for this part. Multiple row tags. What we can do probably is something like that. And kill it also with that. No? Okay. Then not. How can we avoid that? I think we don't want to have these errors. I could ignore them and disable them. Hide error in code fence. I think that's fine. That's fine. So code fence is this part, right? Where we show different coding styles inside. So here we can write different code. So if we extend that, now all of them are gone usually. So if we rerun the code analysis. So back to our Git. So this and this is that. No, not what I wanted. This one. Perfect. And by the way, I wanted to add the key drawer again. Remember this little one? Great. So good. Okay, then we can commit now. Perfect. Pushing the whole thing up. Going back to our repository. Here we go. Creating an MR. Wow, that's a lot of text. Yeah, okay, let's make an X here and remove all the other parts. It's just documentation, so description. On the other side, I probably can also use this as the project and add here something, and that would be improving the README with a contribution section. Good. Okay, create. And with that, we can see now the file changes, which are just these. And on that side, we can see that the build pipelines are running now. Good. Things we have done. I think that's quite successful. Let's go to the next step. Now we want to go back to our code and let's take our first checkout. Get rid of all these messages. And let's see what we can do here. So we have the Readme, landing page. We started the app already, that's that. But we cannot see the buttons anymore. And the reason probably is, yeah, what is actually the reason? We have shelf changes here, right? So in the shelf, we have the landing, we can unshelf it. Fair enough. So and with that, we should see now again all our buttons, hopefully. Oh, we are not running at the moment. Ah, well, yes, perfect. So, and what I would like to have is also the idea on how we want to create everything, right? So let's head back to Dribble. And here we had the idea of the onboarding. I think we just Googled for onboarding. Onboarding. Let's have a look. Not this one, even though that looks very nice. The baseline. This one was it that we wanted to try to clone a little bit. So it's more like we have not the what is missing at the moment still. It's the indicator down here, right? And what we can do with the buttons is creating some kind of like this color scheme at least. So let's take Slurp. Do I have that still? Color sync utility. Whoa, that's a bit too much. Okay, I think there is a nice little package that I would like to install from the App Store. And that is called Color Slurp, I think. Yes. So what is Color Slurp? Color Slurp is a very nice tool which makes also amazing sounds. And this tool allows us to pick colors from everywhere from our screen. So enable later, get that. I have to get to the preferences quickly. So what do we need? Would I compute this screen? So where's the Slurp part? No, not this one. It would be access to the screen accessibility probably, right? There. Quit and reopen. Fine. So now we have it. Fantastic. And now we get ASPH, but we get also the color here. It's in the lower side. Is that a circular progress bar? I believe so. What I would suggest, or what I think there is like if you press that button, you go one slide to the right and it moves it, you know, it's going one step, then a second step, then a third step. The question is, do we want that actually? That would mean we restrict our users a little bit. We could do that, but I think swiping is also okay. So the question is now, do we want to really recreate that screen, or do we want to do something else, like having our own intentions inside? And I think I would go with the latter one. So we try to use some of the colors, but not completely clone the whole experience. So that would be my takeaway, if this makes sense. But yeah, it looks like a progress spinner at the end, like with 4 screens, like 1, 2, 3. Okay, but I can take the color at least for our buttons, right? So that would be my option. So now let's think quickly, how do we add colors to our button? We have for that our theme.dart. Or what we also could do is using the constants, or we do both, because in the theme, if I remember correctly, there is the button settings and there is a color scheme, if I could remember correctly. So maybe quickly Google flutter.dev and search for the theming part, because I would be very interested how that is done now, because as far as I know, the colors are completely new setup with the whole new material color part. And I have to admit, I was not long ago pretty confused by it. So let's see. Try now again to search new buttons. Maybe we find it with material color. Theme data properties have been deprecated. Layer of the button and their themes publicly shared. So there are the different themes. We have now button themes, text button themes, and so on and so forth. Material property colors. Okay. Button, background color, material state, resolve with color. Return theme of color scheme, primary with opacity. Okay, so you can override these different states. That's pretty cool, like pressed and not pressed and things like that. Text button theme style, text button style from primary colors green. So maybe we could do something like that. Elevated button style from. So let's try that. For that, we will have to create a theme, right? That we will then use in the app. Not this one. I think this is the real view. So here we have the theme at the moment, but it comes directly from here. And because the theme can be very large at the end, I would like to take that out from here and bring it into the theme.dart. Also here, I would like to have that and that. Great stuff. And don't do that. Cool. So const light theme, because obviously we will have sooner or later a dark theme. So theme of context. Interesting. Wait, the whole thing is the theme, of course. So let's try that again. Like that. And now the question is can this be a const? So for now we do a var. And it wants to import material, obviously. So, and we cannot get the context here because this would be theme data.light. Color scheme probably. Color scheme dot. Do we have to execute that? Probably not. Secondary like this. So color scheme from swatch. Interesting. Background color, card color, primary color dark, primary swatch. So the question is, where is this color? It's something. So primary color is also there. What would happen if I do here a very weird color and just draw that to red quickly and see what the app is doing? We'll put that in and go to hot reload quickly. We don't have a theme at the moment, so I have to install that here and import the package. Good. Let's make a hot restart. And that could be also not enough. The reason for that is there a reason? Let me quickly check just in case. So let's change. We don't have an up bar, so also not really a good idea. So what do we have here? Let's quickly stop that and restart just to make sure that the app start is done correctly. Digital color meter. Digital. Oh, so there's a native one. I didn't know that. Thank you, Deep Amish. Okay, so that was not it. That means we have this part. What would happen if I replace that with this color here? The accent color. Do we change then actually something? Not really. That's fine. Is that even taken into account? How can I make that absolutely visible? I mean, we can change the button theme, which we want to anyway. There's also button color. What is button color? Can we just... okay, it's just a random artifact. Not used anymore, deprecated. This fix is now enabled default. This feature was deprecated after. Okay, so not used. So we have to use the button theme. Button theme data dot theme data dot light. Copy, no. let's remove that quickly and get from the light theme. No, don't execute that. Light, and get from here the button theme. And this we want to copy with. And what do we have for option here? Highlight, focus, splash, display color. Okay, so everything. And what would happen if I... Not sure. Hot restart is not enough. And I have to restart. And I believe the reason for that is because it lives in the app directly. So it's the very first element here inside. So the material app is invoked. So it could be that this does not work then. Or it doesn't use the colors. That would be also a problem. Huh. Which elevated buttons they are. So where they take their style from. Button style, we get that here. What is the button style? Okay, you know what? I'm playing around and try to figure it out here. That's normally not a good idea. Which Mac do I use currently? I use the Intel Mac. That's why it takes 70 seconds to build something and it's very loud on the side. Okay, what I'm searching was, let me quickly think. Ah yeah, I wanted to go Flutter theme data. Or better, how to style a button actually. Elevated button. Maybe we find here something. So this is per style, material theme. There is an elevated button theme actually. So that is not the best option. It's an elevated button theme, which then has again theme data dot light dot elevated button theme dot what can I copy with? No. So what is it? Elevated date theme data. Okay, let's just take that quickly. Color scheme. No, it would be then elevated button style from. Wait, don't do that. So what do you want? You want a style. Elevated button dot no. Style from, exactly. And then inside of here we can then say the color. It's shadow color on primary. 0xFF, and then let's just take something random. Is it not style from? Invalid constant value. Okay, so it thinks it's a constant, which it is not. Fair enough. So let's see. Did we change some colors finally? 1 to 3, it would be greenish. Aha, but the text changed, so it's not completely true. So it's not secondary on primary. What do we have else that could change the color? On surface? Not restart. No, on surface it is not. Animation duration disabled, elevation, maximum size, primary per se. What is primary? It's a color, okay. Ah, yeah, okay, finally. Jeez. There you can see that I'm really not working so much anymore with Flutter at the moment, and that I currently experiment a lot during the work with the worst thing ever, React Native. So yeah, it's not an excuse. I know it's a bad excuse, but hey, it's the only one I got. So replacing this with that, now we should have that purplish or pink color. Great. Okay, how would that look inside of here? So it has white ingrid, some outside. We could make it round, but I think for login and sign in that would be not a good option. But we could make it maybe higher. Let's see if we can do that. Maximum size, minimum size. What do we expect from size? It's a size object, okay. With a height and a width. So let's say, I don't want to actually give the width. I would like to give only the height. So what I would need to do then is using media query off probably. But I wanted to do that, but I actually wanted to start it later in the workflow, that we can have some time before doing that. Because what I want to do is with the media query off, I would like to take that one step higher so that the whole app re-renders whenever the material query is done. With that, we can save some re-rendering time. We have on surface, fixed size, maximum size, splash factory. There's quite some stuff inside. I like that. Enable feedback, elevation. Cool. Okay. Anyway, let's try that. Let's say infinite from height from radius. What does that mean? From square. What would happen if I add here like 55? Just a random number because I want to see what happens. Ah, okay, perfect. That's exactly what I want, right? That we only have one side of it. And now what I would like to do is put them a little bit more down, that they are more centered between these things. Hey Abdul, nice to see you. Can you suggest any docs or so for tests and CI/CD? So for CI/CD, usually you go for the platform that you're using, like Fastlane or something. Then you will find that on Flutter .dev. So if you have here, for example, CI/CD, you will get probably a lot of very good ideas. Continuous delivery, how you do that. Also for testing, obviously. How I do it with testing, actually, if I need inspirations, is I go to GitHub of the Flutter itself. And the reason for that is nearly all the widgets are, or what means nearly all widgets are tested at least once. And with that, what you can do is going to dev, and I think you have that in integration tests, for example, and all the different widgets are tested actually. I'm just not sure if I'm now in the right repository part. Let me quickly give a second. Is it in bin? No. Packages, Flutter, tests. So, and there you have all the different widgets more or less. And for each, there is a test that you can check. So for example, if you have no idea how to test, let's say a list view, then you can go here inside, say widgets, searching for the list. Then we have the animated list, list builder, list body, list view builder. Then you can check here and you see, aha, this is how it is built. Under here, there are some awaits tests and things like that. There are more tests and you can see what they do exactly and how they are working. So for example, here is a check if it is visible, these arrays, that the scroll state, so it's also jumping somewhere and things like that. So they are quite well written, and the best part is they are completely for free, and that's the best docs that I can provide you actually, because it's way better than it is explained in let's say Flutter.dev anyway, because that is the truth, you know, that there is manpower behind. Yes, of course I can share the link, but now I have made a mistake because I closed the tab. Maybe I can reopen it. Nope. That means, oh no, I have it open. Lucky me. Okay, great stuff. We have tests possibility, dribble, that's working. We have made this settings already. So again, a lot of things happened. Okay, but now we want to center that a little bit more because that looks a tad bit ugly, right? It makes not so much sense to have that in between here. So what could we do? One option would be that we push that with the whole row to the bottom, but I don't like that. An alternative would be that we say in this main axis alignment that we say this is not space between, but let's say center. Look at that. And now it's the opposite. Now it looks a bit off from the top, right? Maybe we could just make it smaller. And what we could do to do so is, I think we have the whole thing inside of an expanded. That's true up here. Why? Because we want to make that flex 1. But what would be if we make that half-half, and instead of expanded, we will use... Not make private, make wrap with a widget. We call it expanded, and the other was flexible, I guess? No? No, that was not it. I'm searching for... that it just takes as much space as it needs. Expanded was it takes all the space that it can get. So with expanded, we can say the flex for it would be 1, for example. Can I do 0? Aha. Okay. That's not too bad, I would say. There's a better way using tab view, that's true. We could also use tab view, that's true. Then we can don't reside on these things, but I think we use at the moment page view, and that's also fine. But the benefit of tab view would be probably because we get the indications, right? We get like the index and things, so the indication is already there. But I'm not sure. I think that would be overkill because you get lots of things that you don't necessarily need, right? Like these icons and things. So you will have to rearrange that a lot. So I'm still convinced that for these things to have that, I'm still confused. Yeah, we get the index. Good. So yeah, we have the page view controller, and I'm pretty sure that one has also the idea of on page change, and on that we will then react where this moving dots will be at the end. No, we didn't need icon. What do you mean we don't need icon? Work with tabs. Do you think there is a better way? But I think you have to add an icon, right? For the tab view. So how would that look like? I mean, you cannot say remove them all, or that wouldn't work. Can't be assigned to the type, yeah. Good. Yes, animated container sounds very good to create the dots, but I'm still on this tab bar. Chris Cheetan, you are very... we can ignore tab bar? Didn't you say we should use tab bar? What? Ah, tab view. Wait, tab view is something else. What is a tab view? Maybe I'm wrong. Tab view. I should maybe read correctly. Flutter. Work with tabs. But it drops me in the tab bar. Tab view. Don't know it. Okay, but any case, we can do that. Absolutely, I'm with you. But what I would suggest is currently that we fixed up down here, that it looks a bit more nice and concise. And how can we do that? By pushing it a bit lower, I guess. So we have currently that. Flex 0 is fine. We have that padding here for horizontal. And how is it working? Then we can say vertical too and say spacings dot make it small for now. And I think instead of using this ×2, we have a separate thing like medium, which is the same thing actually. So now padding seems not to be the right thing because now we have the safe area problem again. So maybe it's not here the best place to have. We have the box shadow, we have this column. So probably we have to push the column. The column is for the two do we need the column? Yeah, we need the column. And now let's try to wrap them with a widget padding. Yep, nice. So make them symmetric. And say vertical of spacings dot small, for example. That looks better, right? Good. Something like that. Tab view is the body. Aha, from the tab bar then at the end. But I'm still not convinced. Why should I use that then? So you would not have tabs. You would just use the tab bar container then, or tab bar tabs, and then you have the body, which is the tab bar view. Aha, and then in the tab, but I cannot swipe that then. Or do you have to activate then? But it sounds like it's more complicated. The page view is like 2 things to add, so I don't see the benefit at the moment. Why would be the tab bar so much easier to use, in your opinion? Well, not here. So if I use the page, no, I don't change that now. It works. Why should we change it? So let's keep it for now. I mean, it does its trick and we are pretty happy with it at the moment. What we could do is maybe just add here on top a button that makes the switch later easier. But for now, I'm pretty happy and we wanted to do something else, right? Yeah, the 3 dots. I think we can do that. So what I would suggest is putting the 3 dots like inside of here, having that button, that circled button for the next button, maybe here, and then we can do something like that. So how would that look like? So we have this horizontal, and also here we can change it to medium. Medium. Yeah. So let's commit that first. Like alignment of the buttons is now correct, right? So feature, button alignment is now correct. We get 2 to-dos. Yeah, that's true. Correct. So commit that anyway. Fair enough. It's not really test-driven design by the moment, because usually you should write the tests first. Good, but we have that now. We have sign in a register. They don't do a lot of things. And yeah, so we have the padding, and up here we would like to add now these 3 dots. And as Hamish already wrote, we can use maybe the animated container and have a look what they do, like 250, duration object. You want to write a... Yeah, my suggestion was very good. I have never made it that way. It's very hard for me to create something like a book or so. So congratulations, Hamish. So, and I would just use a decorated box for that with a height and a width. Can I do that? Or do I need to make... no, I can take a size box even, right? So that I say it's height and width. Does it have styling? No, it doesn't. Decorated box. What have you? Decoration. Okay, let's try that. Box decoration. Do you have a height and a width? No, but I can still take a sized box then inside. Something like that. 5 months vacation. Wow, that's luxury. Yeah, use that to write a book. Can just recommend that. I think a lot of people are very happy by writing that. So then we have children sized box, and the height would be 25 and the width would be 25 for now. So, and one of them is now, this is now one animated container that will show. I mean, we will change that maybe in a second, but this is 1 dot at the moment. So how can we make that visible? We use the color and say colors.black for now. Okay, not really what I would expect. Why is that the case? Somehow it's getting pulled out of each other. So the stretch seems to be more accurate for the whole thing. Could I use something different, like container for now? Just quickly, just to see if it works. So colors.black and give it a height of 25 and a width of 25. Nope, same problem. Interesting. Ah, you mean from the... Ah, yeah, sure. Of course. Makes sense. Can remove that. I don't know, same problem. Interesting. So do I need maybe a row for that? With children, and inside of the children we would have that animated container. Aha, much better. Okay, and now we have one of them, and I think 25 is too big, but keep it. And say, okay, we have 1, 2, and 3 of them. So, and now we can say in the row there is main axis alignment space between, right? Between, or maybe space around. Nope, space around. And later we can move them more together. Cool. So now we have these 3 things, and what I would like to do is having them active or inactive. And instead of doing it like this, the height needs to be very smaller. Let's say the height is 8. Let's take our spacings. And before I do that, I copied that now already, which was maybe not that small. Well, let's keep it for now. I don't mind. We have to write a little bit more. Get it back. So, fair enough. Row, we had the main axis alignments. So, space evenly. Yeah, also fine. Good. So I wanted to change the height here. Nope, now it takes multiple things to 10 or something. Or let's take the 8, because then we have a multiplier of that and can say the width would be 16. No more, 24. 32. 24. Okay, like that. So quickly copy that once more. So they are inactive, right? Something like that. So, and 1 is active, that would be then smaller and round, like 8 to 8 and round. Or which one is active? No, I think it's directly opposite, right? Yeah, the active one is a bit thicker. So the active one would be the thick one, 16, and the other ones would be the same. Good. Don't use child as container. Animated container has all params as of a container. Nice. Makes sense. Very good, very good. I just wanted to test you if you know what we are doing here. Nice. And you are right, of course the animated container has the same properties. Just makes sense, right? It's a container. So, broken. What did we have married wrong? Type null is not type. They need children. No, type null is not type of subtype 1. What's the issue? Let's read. Subtype decoration and typecast. Okay, was just a hiccup. Great stuff. So, now the first one is active, and if we swipe, we would activate the next one. So we would need to make this height, this width actually, depending on something. So for now, let's increase that just a lot, like spacings dot large, and this is spacings dot medium. No, that's wrong. Small, great. And let's do that like that. Spacings dot small, spacings dot small. Good. So, and why do I do that exactly? Let me think. We want now to take the state, and then with the state we have to re-render the whole thing, right? You made it this way. Yeah, good. So then we have to think about state management, right? Because now we come from a stateless widget to a stateful widget somewhere, because at least this column here, and which is this column? This is the bottom part. Probably we should extract that. It's getting a little bit lot here inside. Maybe it makes sense to extract that, because that one is the only one who keeps the state. No, that's not true, because the state is setting up here. So what we need is some kind of state management tool. We will use Qubit probably for it. And animated dash to dot and vice versa. Yeah, exactly. So what we need is this landing page needs to be inside of, this is now directly a material app. It's not necessarily what I like, but okay, let's do that. I mean, we want just to work on the onboarding screen, so I think it's fine. So let's go to blog.dev. No, it's not blog.dev, blog. Flutter. What is the website? Was it IO? Bloglibrary.dev. Okay, fair enough. So, and get started. So we want to use with a Qubit. So core concept, Flutter block. I think its block is mainly installed directly with the very good CLI, right? So let's check. Yes, block tests are there and we have the block pattern here. Fair enough. And with them, we should be able to use it. Why block core concepts, block, testing, naming. I think if we search here, Qubit. Correct. So what we can see, we have the UI, which implies a function to the Qubit, which then changes the data, and the data responds with it. The change inside of the state will be stated to the UI, and with that we have this circle of life, more or less. Good. So how do we create a Qubit is here defined, and how the state is changing. We will do that in a second, but what we need actually is first a way to push the changes then to the different parts. So how do we do that? I think that should be also mentioned somewhere here. Core concepts, why block, getting started maybe. There are the dependencies. Examples, I don't want to use the examples necessarily. Was it directly in the web? I'm again, I think if we go to Flutter block, we can see it easier. Yeah, so here we use the block provider where we create then just the Qubit that we want. Okay, nice. I don't know, Amish, actually, if Mahtab even come back. She don't really is into making videos at the moment. So because of the child and everything, she has other obligations that she want to take care of. Okay. So now we are in the app. We have all that stuff. We have that. Now we come the first time to block. And as far as I know, how do we make state management here? So as far as I know, we have views usually, and we have the block part. So in our case, we would like to create the block somewhere. And at the moment, sadly, it lives inside of the app. So inside of the main part. So we would have like a landing page block.dart. Don't know if the name is good. We just use it for now. We can just change it later too. Landing page block and have something here. And now let's see how we create it. We have to create the block. And it's not a block. We want to use Qubit. So let's head back to the website of the block library. Oh, Mikido is part of it. Very interesting. It's one of our externals is from Mikido at our work at the moment. Very, very funny, very interesting. Love it. Okay, creating a Qubit. So class Qubit extends Qubit, obviously. Yeah. So extends Qubit with whatever we have. And what do we have actually? We have the state of the page, right? So if we are on the first page, second page, or third page. So it's probably just an int. Do we need anything else at the moment? No, I don't think so. So let's start with 0. It's just int. So, and now we have to make that exactly. 0 is our initial part, and we have to import the library. Good. With that, we have set that we create a new class of landing block page with the constructor here, and after that setting the superclass to 0. So superclass is in our case Qubit, and 0 is the state that we initialize the Qubit. What's Very Good CLI? Very Good CLI is a tool that a very good company created, and it's like a wrapper surrounding Flutter itself, so the Flutter command. And with the Very Good CLI, you can create a project new, and they add already a lot of things like internationalization, flavoring, sound null safety, block pattern, testing, logging, things like that. And all of that helps you tons. So I highly recommend that. So I don't know if you have reckoned it, but when there was, I removed the expanded, usually the Flutter logging drives nuts and shows a lot of errors suddenly. With the Very Good CLI, because they already took care of that, you get just one log message from that and it stops. Using page view is easy as the pages are not preloaded. You can initiate animations in init state. Okay. Animation smooth indicator. So it's a pre-built or is it a package that we have to install? Animated smooth indicator. Do you mean this one? Yeah, it looks very nice. What we can do is we can take a look into how they did it, but I'm pretty sure it's also nothing else than just animators. Oh, painters, they painted them. Okay, then it's different. Jumping dot painter. Okay, so it's completely painted. It's cool. Yeah. But I would like to not take a package until now if we don't need to. But it's pretty great that there are already so many good packages for that. Okay. So we have our Qubit that keeps the state now. So this landing page block comes to the app. And inside of our app.dart, we surround our material page with a widget. Is now the is it Qubit container? Let's have a look. Counter Qubit. Ah, there is also the Qubit. Counter page, and there we have to create it with block provider. But yeah, okay. Block provider, and here we have that with a child, and we have to create also something. So create, and this gets context and not the authentication block. Landing page block. So, and with that we create now the block Qubit and give it inside of the context of the landing page. And the cool part is now inside of this context we can now access, I don't know if we have imported it yet, but usually import, let's try it with Qubit, or better with block. I think let's try it with that here. So, and inside of the build function, yeah, calm down. So inside of the build function, we can now try to use context dot, and I'm pretty sure it works. So let me give a second. Block builder. Okay, this would be if we would use the builder part. Context dot read and write. Aha. So it's like, hey Mesota, nice to see you. Hope you're well. So with read, we can now get the value that we want, that we are interested in. So now it's just a question why here is everything red. Usually I was expecting that it works. Missing type argument method read t. Context.read. Ah, now we have to pass in which type we want to have, like landing page block. And with that, we have now access to the value, right? So here we can have var, or better int, page number or something like that. So, and with that, we have directly access, if I'm not mistaken. So a value of type landing can't be assigned to variable type of int. Of course, because we have to also say what we want to have, the state. And with that, we get our int. And now we can use this page number wherever we want. For now, let's just print it to make sure that this is also the case. So we can see Flutter 0, so it's printed. So if I change here the state again to something else like 99, well, why is it not working? Here we go. It's now re-rendered and that's fine. So, and with that, we want now to keep track of this number here, 1 or 0, 1 and 2. So we start with 0, which is the landing screen where we start, right? So inside of here, we have the page number. So where do we need it? Inside of our page view, we have the controller. So actually it would be better that we do something like that and say the initial page is page number. Right? Because now we can even control that. If the page builder is changed somewhere, we can even jump back to that number. So if we change it to 1, you can see the different page is preloaded as the first page. Yes, you can see the navigation at the beginning if the app is restarting, but not as, if the app is starting up completely from fresh. No, if you navigate back to the page. Good. So now we have some state. That's good. It's an easy state for the pages, but now we can use that. Can I build Windows Exe on Mac using GitHub Actions? No, you cannot. The problem is GitHub Actions probably use Linux machines, and for Windows, you need Windows machines. So probably that will not be possible. Let me think. No, I don't. With CMake, yeah, it could be possible, yes. It's quite a lot of work, I guess, because you need some things to create C projects and all these kind of stuffs. So I have no perfect solution for you yet, but it would be possible because Linux can build Windows parts. You cannot execute the exe at the end, but yes, you would be able to create one with a little bit of effort. Define int position 0. So instead of page number, or controller add listener, set state, position, controller index. Perfect. That sounds very reasonable what you are saying. So we will do that. So I think we can inline that here. No, don't like that. Keep it like that. And maybe call that, can inline that actually. And now what you suggest here makes a lot of sense, I think. GitHub Actions can create iOS. Is that possible? Because they don't have a Mac. I'm pretty sure that GitHub Actions create EPA. I cannot imagine that. iOS build actions. iOS design can export. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong with the Linux part. GitHub Actions build machines. Ubuntu, macOS and Windows servers. Okay. Okay, if it works. Never tested it. Great stuff. Okay, then let's implement the idea from Chetan, or else he drives nuts because I'm too slow. So the controller in the landing page wants to have, not here, I guess, but we can access here the controller dot. And now he has the idea to use an on method. Like, do we have something like that? We have the page, initial page. Offset positions, hash listener, add listener. And we have to do that in the init state, I'm pretty sure, or else we would re-render and show it all the time. So I think we have to keep this controller in state, sadly. Anyway, more or less. Is that correct, or do I speak wrong stuff? If I would not do that, we would have to re-render all the time. We would add a lot of listeners the whole time. That's not a good idea. So we have to do it somehow, at least only once. So, and how can we do that? We could, I think there's only the init state. Do we have something like that? Init, I don't think so, right? Dispose is also not part of it. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so I think that's the only option that we have. Make this a static stateful machine. Put this controller out because it's anyway final. So here are now once created. Now you cannot access the context read anymore, so we would have to pass that down. Use stateless. Basically, yeah. Okay, so stateful is the correct way. Now we have to just get the first initial value, right? If we would like to control that from outside. So that means this initial value needs to come from somewhere. So you get called from the app. So here inside, what we can do is taking directly action from the context.read and asking for the state of landing the page block. So dot state. And now it complains because we don't pass that in at the moment. We need this state here. This is the page number, or initial page number, better said. The question is, do we really need that actually? We always begin with 0, right? If we come the first time here without the state. So I would say we don't actually need that. Sorry if I confuse you. So let's say we don't need it for now. So keep that as 0. We can remove that. That's fine. So with that, we have the controller, and here we want and need an init state. Good. We say super init state, and here we use the controller to add a listener. And inside of here, we want to get, I believe we get the value right from here. No, it's a void callback listener. Or maybe controller dot add. We get an empty listener. But I can get, of course, the number from the controller. Dot initial number keep page, but I can get the page. The question is now just if I get the first page or the second. Animate to page, attach, create scroll position, detach, dispose. Yeah. Okay, so let's try that and make a print around, and let's see what we get as numbers. So, why is that yellow? Have to return type would be void. Good. With that it's set, and we should get now some infos here. No, we don't. Restart the app quickly. Use index. Is there something else like page? No. Okay, so we get different values between 0 and 1. And it's triggering quite often. Is that a problem actually? Let me quickly think. No, because this default values can be used to make it larger or smaller as a recreation. Could be interesting. Let's try that. So that means, but that looks maybe weird. So what I think about is at the moment, so if we use these steps in between, what we could do is animate the containers already and then remove it and make it bigger directly. But my problem that I see here, because we get these different values in between, we can also show like a small animation that, you know, removes from one side and put it to the other side. But I think we have to think about a bit. I think page controller is created too much. Only once check the file. Hi Shafkat, nice to see you. So you thought that the page, and the page view would remove that because you would have only 3 then. So, I mean, we can still change that, right? The page view is here, so we can still use the tab, what was it, tab view, tab bar view, and it doesn't have a controller. Drag start behavior physics. And it does it contain children? Okay, broken. Tab controller for tab view. Okay, we need a tab controller. Let's take the controller again. And this one will be now a tab controller. Length is 3, no 2. Vsync. Vsync would be this. So if this is this, that's an animated controller and we have to add something, right? So it's this, no, this. And now I have to quickly do a scratch file. Yes. Start. And here's Danim. So, and this is a single ticker provider mixin. Like that. And the vsync was this, right? Yeah. What is the problem right now? Okay, that's fine. Invalid reference to this, okay. State extends single ticker provider, yeah, it's correct. Get a page, of course, that doesn't work anymore because now we get the index, right? But still the index is not working. What is the wished part here? What do you want as vsync? Animation outbounded? Ticker provider, yeah. Yeah, sure. What we are working currently on is the onboarding screen, and we want to have these 3 dots that you know from time to time on the bottom of the onboarding screen to create. So there we are at the moment. You will get vsync in init state. Ah, so the creation is wrong. So I have to pass that here. Good point. So what we probably have to do is saying something like controller or tab controller, and then we have to, instead of saying final, this. We don't access now this one. Why? Non-nullable. Ah, yeah, sure. That's no, we don't have. We make that late, maybe. Ah, late was in front, right? Late tab controller. Yeah, like that. Is not subtype of type tab controller or function of null. Page controller. Page controller. Do we have a page controller? Restart the app quickly. Better. So controller's length probability 2 does not match the number of tabs. 3% in tabs property. Okay, fair enough. So why do I have to set it if he knows it anyway? Fair enough. So that worked. Default tab controller. What is the default tab controller? Is it the same thing? Create the default for the given tab child requires. Aha, then can I avoid a lot of these implementations, you mean? So don't need that, and then I can just wrap the tab. No, wait, you mean this way. We built that still because we need to. And up here, instead of doing that, you would do here the default tab controller. Add a cast as tab controller. Why is that now at cast? It makes no sense. What is the difference between that? Aha, it is a default tab controller, so it's a bit different. No, this is a widget. Why is this a widget now? Not a big fan. So if it's a widget, we have to surround probably this one with a widget. So it's default tab controller. The length is free. So we've got that. And now how do I make that accessible for this part? We don't need that probably. And if I have the default controller, tab view, controller, why do you need the controller anymore? I think we don't need that. Fair enough. So, and what can I do here? Initial index, animation duration, that's all fine. Oops. So that works. Now we just have to have the option. Wow, geez, what do you write? Open once, wrap scaffold. I think so. We have just the material part. So, okay, I've never worked with it and I just read your stuff and I don't understand it. So let's read the documentation. I think that makes more sense, even though I like your effort. So the tab controller for descendant widgets does not specify one explicit. Default tab controller is an inherited widget that is used to share a tab controller with a tab bar or a tab bar view. It's used when sharing an explicit created tab controller isn't convenient because the tab bar widgets are created by a stateless parent widget or by different parent widgets. That means I could avoid to have a stateful widget, right? We could just use a stateless widget. So we have a stateless widget, my tabs, okay. Left and right, we have a scaffold, the whole thing is surrounded. My tabs length and the tab bar view contains then the map of these tabs and create something out of it. But how would I know now? How can I react on the state change? So my question is a little bit, how should it be possible to do something with it? Yes. To get the index, I need stateful. So I need a real tab controller, right? I cannot use the default one, unfortunately. Okay, then let's remove that widget once more and go a bit back. So get rid of that. So like this, right? And say here free, and that's it. And if we restart, that should do exactly the trick already. So we have this possibility, we have the controller, and probably we have also add listener, and we can see already the numbers. So we had it already. Good. So that worked. And with this index, what we can do is now just set. So what we can say is context dot. Do we have access to context here? Yep, probably. Read. We use again the landing page block. And now we have to set the state, right? Oh no, we cannot access context.read here. Interesting. We don't get the state here. I could do it here now in the main state, but then I don't need a block even. Oh, I don't like that. In its state, we could create this state. Good. So getting the state here. Yeah, writing Qubit would be better. Let's see if we have even the possibility to access that. In its state, file block. Okay, he creates the file block inside. inside the block provider, which is of course inaccessible for the parent widget. Yes, I know that helps with automatic cleanup block, but if you want to access it in init state or did change dependency, then you have to initialize it at a parent level like so. And then there is a builder inside. Then it could be easily accessible with this level. I don't. We can use that maybe. We can try that. So inside of here we have block provider dot off. Now we still need the context, but we can still try that. And then have the state. So if we print that quickly, we should get 0 and not a broken state. Controller listener. No, broken state. Sad. Okay. Block provider, context of streamable object, blah, blah, blah. Wait, but here is not written which state I want to have. So landing page block, because we have to be generic, right? So maybe that is the problem already. Yes, perfect. Okay, so with that we get the state, and inside of here we can now add a new page number, like set page number. And what this method does is just emit state. No, it's just receiving a number, int page number, and this page number will be just emitted. Does it return anything? No, void. Fair enough. So with that we can set this page number, and we use for that the controller.index. So set page number is not accessible. So how do we access it? State close. No, I think I have to do something. Was it emit? I can just emit it directly. No, I don't want that. I do it this way. Why is this not possible? The expression has type void, so it cannot be used as a value. Yeah, I'm stupid. Fair enough. And this. And page number is not existent, so it's controller.index. So, makes sense? Probably. So in order to test that, I want to get the value there, but I think we can keep that like for that. So reading comments. For hosting Flutter website, should I use GitHub paging? You can use nearly everything. GitHub Pages is good. You can use Firebase Pages is also pretty good. You can use CodeMagic to build it for you. Yeah, Tomcat is also an option. I think there are a lot of free things. You just need to update the path, correct. I have now quite 3 years of experience in Flutter, but the last year was nearly only React Native, so that's why I'm currently a bit struggling with the easy things. Yeah, so good. Now that we have the knowledge. Oh, why is it? Because we didn't have restarted it. And now we should get on change. Aha, perfect. So thanks to our very good CLI, we received again logging changes directly from the state. So we don't have to console log them ourselves. So the current state is 0. The next state was 1 because it updated. Current state is 1, now it's 2. And if I go back, we should see that in the different direction. Good. And with that, that means now we can go back to our animated containers, this ones, and now, yeah, what do we actually want to do? That should be pretty fairly simple, right? We can just say context.read, taking the state from the landing page block, take the state, and start with the question mark stuff, right? So we ask if this state is equal to 1, for example, then we have it large, and else spacings dot small or medium, I think it is. And is that correct? Wait, yes. Let me quickly think. Which one was active? Was it large? So if this is the state and the state is 1, no, it's 0, 0, then this is the case. Okay, fair enough. Not sure why this is here complaining at the moment. So let's see. Avoid longer lanes. Okay, fair enough. And I think we can copycat that 3 times, but I don't really like to do that because I think we are nearly finished with the implementation. So I think we can quickly do it, but so and so, but you see it probably already, or hopefully you see it. We want to be dry, so this is a very bad thing to do. Copy all the stuff over and over again, because we can do that in our own widget, right? That was loud. Okay, fair enough. So 2 of them look very weird, so let's take them to small. Also that to small. And with that we animated that, and let's move. And nothing happens. And why is that the case? It's a good question. Why is that the case? We read, we emit. Why is it not re-rendering? I was thinking that read and write should understand that there needs to be something re-rendered. It needs set animate. Do you think really that we need to use set state for that? Ah, that's a bit unlucky, right? I really thought that the re-rendering would take care of that. Okay, so if we need a set state, how can we do that? Actually, that would mean that we have to listen to the state of here. And what can we do? What can we do? We can try the following. We take this state here, and probably there is a method on it, something like onChange. Correct. On arrow. Let's take onChange. And now what we will have to do, set state and put that stuff in. Yep. Yeah, we get an int here, right? Int, or better just underscore because we don't need it. Is that possible? No. Change int. Void function is not change int. What? On change. Ah, we receive an object called change. The member on chain can only be used with instance member of subclass block. Okay, fair enough. The on change method is not part of easy be usable for us. Fair enough. But how can I react else if not with that? Do you have ideas? Ah, that's really unlucky. I don't want to. Because with that, all that work with blocks is completely nuts. Okay, fair enough. We learned something. That means we have to remove that more or less. Kick. Now we can skip the whole block provider here because it doesn't make sense for us. Inside of here we have that. Fair enough. Now that part is now just the state itself. Should be fairly simple now. We can do it at very, very simple, like having an int current index, which starts with 0. And now we can set that whenever we want, like current index is equal to controller index. And even that we can change, I guess. And after that we have set that, we can set the state and put that inside because it's synchronous. Now we just get rid of some errors, and that would be this part. We don't have to read anymore. The rest can stand, and it's just the current index. And instead of doing that multiple times now, we do this. Remove the state. Good. So, and with that, we should have removed all that. We have that set index. I think we can make that also smaller. Bring that in one line. So, and I think we don't need that. Good. Okay, so we set the index, current index. Okay, and I think we can even remove that in the long run. Let's see. So look at that, animated. But the first one looks still a bit odd. So probably there is a mistake in the writing. Yep, it's still medium, should be small. Good. Now they look still a bit ugly. We will improve that in a second. But for now, I would say that works quite well, right? So we have that in place. The controller is working. We have that. Can you suggest some good practices for Flutter? Obviously, nearly the same as you would do in all other programming parts. So that is always important. Keep your architecture straight. Use something like linters, not only the ones that are recommended, maybe think about to extend them and make them think about what things you want to use. But start with a subset if you don't have so much understanding of it. Also, what I would recommend in general for Flutter is using constants as often as possible. Like, for example, we do now with the spacings here. Reason is, whenever you have to change something, you can do it at one place and you are way faster with that. I see right now here, for example, we could use extra large just to be consistent. Yeah, also, if you want to get really deep into Flutter, I would recommend you join the Flutter Twitter community and also the community on Slack and all the other communities, because you get a lot of hints and other ideas there. That's great, Cheetan. I like that a lot. I'm always happy if I can help you. Okay, but we got that. We have now the spaces. That looks quite well. So what I wanted to do besides of that, small aligned current index is set. So the question is now, do we actually need the current index? And I believe we do not need it actually. What we could do is using the controller index right away, right after the bat, and replacing the current index. We don't necessarily need that. Nope, because the initial state is 0. So what we can do is just set state here with the basic function. Good. And there where it complains, we replace that with this. Yeah. Now it's just a bit sad that that would be the good thing if we would have used the other one. Now, as you can see, we can be faster than the animation happens. That's a bit unlucky. But I could also increase the speed of the animation, but yeah, let's do that. Why not? Yeah, but it activates so slow. That's the problem, I guess. She-tune? All right. E is silent. Ah, she-tune. She-tan? She-tan. Actually, I'm not ready with the session yet, or is it already so far? Only because I had technical difficulties, right? I have to also put them into account. So there is no option to now final already. Also, we have not finished the feature yet. I would like to finish it completely, that it looks also good, because that's not possible like that. I cannot leave it like that. Okay, so what I would do is, because these animated containers, and you recognize that probably already, is they are pretty much the same 3 times. And that's usually an indication for you should probably do something about it. So for that, I will create inside of the authentication folder here a new folder called landing page. And the reason for that is inside of here, I keep all the widgets that are only for this screen. So if one thing would be, for example, the, how do we call it? That would be the progress.start, something like that. And there we contain that whole widget here. So going here and say we have a stateless widget probably. which we call progress indicator dot. And this can be replaced like so. And now we have to import some stuff. In our case, it's material again. And with that, we probably have already all the things that we need. And this controller.index comes now from the parent, right? So we have here a required page index, like so. And this page index is gonna be used down here instead of this index. And also what we need is the active page, or which page it is, for which page this progress indicator stands for. But what is this problem now? Undefined page index, okay. Avoid defining unused parameters in constructor. Okay, fair enough, so this. No, also not. Create field. Ah, fair enough. And you are not a const, probably. Yeah. Why is it yellow? This class or class that it inherits of is marked immutable. Fair enough. That it means this needs to be final. Good. So still the problem. Why is you yellow? Prefer declaring const constructors on immutable classes. Okay, fair enough. If it works. Next problem, sort constructor declarations before other members. Okay. So you can see these lintings can be also a pain in the arse. Because that was very minor problems, you know, but still you get errors, you will be delayed with your features, things like that. So it could be annoying. Okay, so this is the page index, or that is the current page index. So let's rename that current page index, because there will be also an active page index. Require this dot active page index, or no, don't add always index. So let me think. I want to say that one dot is for a specific page, so it needs to represent that somehow. The current page index, does it explicitly say me which thing that is? Like I can say this is the page index for now. So final int page index, and this one should be this one. So this one will be dynamic and changing. How can I say that? It's like the one is static and the other one not. But how do I say that as a good citizen? Active page index, and the other one is just the reference page in the reference page index. Active page index, and that one is the reference page index. So that means the active one is the one who's moving around, and the reference one is the one that I am at the moment. But you get the index when you are totally on that page. That's true, but the problem is more how I can compare these two. And probably the question is, when do I get this action started here at listener? Do I get that multiple called, or is it just once? I believe it's just once, but it would be good that we get also the start of the animation, like on beginning of dragging or something. Do we get that? Controller start drag. Index is changing. Previous index has listener runtime animate to notify listener. Nah. Okay, so it's way more static. I think the page view would have given us the control to really make these sub parts possible. But I think that's maybe something for the next week. Then we try it. I want to call it now my way, which is not completely true. But yeah, the different way. Okay, so now we have to add that, and this one gets now the two elements that we added. Why don't I see that? I have to import them. So the active page is controller.index, perfect, and the reference one is 0 in our case. So with that, we know 1, 2, 3 times. And also that is a bad idea because we can do it even smarter. We can create a list. Can we generate or something? I thought there was something create. There was something very cool. Fill range, is it this one? Start with 0, end with 3, 2? I'm not sure. List dot filled with the length of 2. Fill is a method, I think, with an int I, and that returns what should return. So where is it? This one, and that would return I. No? How was it? List fill, filled, E is empty, creates a new list. Unique 0. List generate free, something list. This is just the beginning. So this is not a method, that would be just something like this. And then we can say map, we get E, and we say E is the number, and now we create this progress indicator 3 times, and E comes inside of here. So, but what is E? Do we have something? No, it's the list. No, it's first. Oh, did I do something wrong? What does filled return? Creates a new empty list, and I thought this one creates a list given a length with fill at each position. The length must be non-negative integer. Yep, makes sense. Final 0 list filled. That returns 3 zeros. That's bad. After being created and filled, the list is no different from any other growable fixed using or other list constructor. All elements of created list share the same fill value. Okay, to create a list with fixed length and a new object at each position. Yes. Okay, kind of. What is underscore? I believe this is the number. So let me try that once more. I thought I was already on the good path. So we replace that part with this. And this is the int. I believe this is the number. And what we could do is adding that into the list. But I don't want to have a list actually. I just want to have that. Why is it complaining so much? Can't be assigned to list type widget. Iterable. To list. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Okay, fair enough. That makes sense. The reason is probably because I cannot create that down there. So let's do it here and call that somehow integer, or I don't know, dot list. Why do I do that? Wait, what I'm doing? I can do it easier, I think. I can just use a for loop, right? Can I not do for int I equals 0, I is smaller than 2, I plus plus. So, and if we do that, we don't make a map, we don't do any fancy stuff, we do just that. And instead of E, we have I. And this can be done too. Now the only downside is I have to do something like that. And I'm not sure if this is possible. No. So let's see if this works. Yeah, looks good. Okay, fair enough. So now we have these 2 animated containers down here that have to be gone. Whoop. Oh, I'm so bad. Equals, of course. Fair enough. Okay, that was way too complicated, but thanks to that for loop inside, we can be very pragmatic here, I think. Can do that. Now it still looks a bit dumb, but at the end we have the values there and it works like we expected. That's pretty cool. So before we do the next step and make it a bit more beautiful, I would now commit, because this is now something I can ship. It has already the progress indicators. So the progress indicators actually are working. So added progress indicators into our application. So one warning, unused import. Okay, remove. So with that, we have that done. That's already pretty good. And now what we can do is going to the progress dots and make them a bit more beautiful, because at the moment they are just these tiny things that are working together. And what we can do is like decoration, box decoration, and adding here some parts, like for example, a border radius, radius.circular, and increase that a little bit. Let's see what looks good. Radius 25. No, it's also not right. What is wrong today? It's a double, 25. And this is broken because the argument can't be assigned to border radius geometry. Ah, right, obvious. Border radius circular. Okay, what did I do? So let's see, we get some errors. Interesting. Color equals 0 yeah, okay, so this is the default error that we receive. So the decoration is existent, so we have to put this color value here inside. Good. With that, we should be one step further, and you can see they are now round. You see that? Looks pretty good, I guess. Very nice. So coming better to the place. And now we would like to change the color to something that comes closer to our dribble. And I think we should use that color here, right? So we slurp again, pick color. There we go. Getting the perfect sound to it. Color 0x, 0x, FF, and adding that, making it constant. Okay. And I think we can also use the disabled color, like something like that. Great stuff. And the disabled color. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so what we would do is using this part here again. And because we're using it twice, it's maybe a good idea to take it out. Like is active. So is active, then large, else small. Perfect. Then we can also bring that in one line. And the same thing we can do with the color. Can say is active this color, else the other color. 0x FF, and what was the color? This it's pro feature. Okay, we don't have pro, so there. No. Yeah. Okay, got it. Bop. Okay, so how does it look? Way better already, right? Coming closer to it. I think for the next time we really need to make it a bit more smooth. I think that is really missing. It's a sad feature, but I really like that the animated container is already taking care of the colors, because as you can see, even the color getting animated. I think if we make that very slow, like a second or so, you can directly see it. Like if we say like 3 seconds, the whole thing. Use offset. What do you mean with offset? Yeah, Shupa, I'm sorry, I'm not anymore a pro. I think I have to anyway rename the channel. I thought about techniques or something. I don't know about that. Controller offset. Okay, we'll try that. So we are here. What is the controller offset delivering us? Offset is the double of value. But what is this offset bringing us? Wait, put it here. Read doc. That is the tab controller. And here you say offset is something. Animate to offset. Here we go. So what can we read here? The difference between the animations value and index. Oh, that's exactly what we need. That would mean the page index that we currently get can be something in between. So then we have to animate everything, right? So the animated controller will be a bit more complex, I guess. Because we have to draw it. That's the reason why they draw it. Okay. So what I was thinking now, I don't know if I have mentioned that. So we have this offset on the controller, which allows us to move around. So we get the information where we are in between these things. So I can print that quickly. Controller.offset. So it's the same thing that we received before with the other version that we had with the tab view. No, not with the tab view, with the page view. So if we move now, we should of course put that. It's a good question. Where do we put that? I think it needs to be there where we re-render the page all the time. So what we can try. In the add listener, it's not. What is re-rendering? Okay, we can do that in the progress dots. Maybe in the build part. So let's print them here quickly. No, here we get the controller. So we need something that exists all the time. In add listener, is it really there? I cannot imagine that actually, because I think the add listener is only executing it once, right? Ooh. Oh, I did not know that. That's a cool feature. Interesting. Cool. Surprise, surprise. If I do that here, you think I get it? No, I thought so. Because the add listener is unfortunately executed on only full information that we get. So that's not the case. But what we can try is maybe in the build part. Nope. Also not. What is getting re-rendered? I think that one is getting re-rendered quite often. But it doesn't get the offset. But what we can do is writing that offset inside. But anyway, I think we can use that, but it would be something for future episodes, right? We just want to make them for now beautiful before we start now next topic. So stick with our plans. So we have that in circular. They are not pressable yet, but we should do that absolutely so that they can push up also a callback. So I think I have to write that down because that's stuff I will never remember till the next time whenever we restart the whole thing. So to add that here, like update 22 of April. No, completely. No, it was right. The 22nd of April 22. So what do we want to do? We would like to add this one. So we thought about to add callback on click of the dots to make navigate to the specific page tab view. Then the next thing that we want to do is what you brought up. Yes, make it more smooth. Smooth between the different screens and align the dots to it. And we add now the information that I don't forget it till the next time, that we can do that with a hint, like hint use controller.offset to use controller offset to get the information between the different views. Good. Did I miss something? And add listener offset radius circular 30. Those dots should be clickable and should skip to the page selected by clicking. That's also a good point. Yep. I think that's part of this one, right? I will add that, Hamish, as an additional point because I will probably also forget that. So let's see. Skip to the correct page. So from 1 to 3 and from 3 to 1, right? Good. So I don't forget that, at least. That's something worth, I guess. So, and I think also that the next live stream will not take that long. So probably tomorrow or something, I will be on that again. Good. But in between, before we finish now, I would like to still do some kind of things because some parts are still a bit ugly. I don't like that they are so far apart at the moment. And I think the time is, I think the animation time is a bit too long. Milliseconds, let's take 250 again. And also I don't like that we have timings here. Also here I would recommend we have this constant, so abstract class, and here we have timings. And that would be static const duration. Not sure if we can do that, but I think so. Milliseconds. Oh, what is, stop that. Milliseconds 250. Zack. Not possible. Reason is missing return type for duration. Of course. Static duration, it's slow or fast, better said. Then we have slow with, I don't know, 500. Very slow 750 and extreme slow. And I think the naming could be better because I think what we could do is saying we have slow, very slow. That's this. Slow is this. This one is medium then. Something like that. And I think we should begin with the fastest and then get slower. Just to make it a bit more understandable. And the good thing is now we can use the fast part inside of here. I'm taking the timings, not fast. And now probably we have to import it. No, the whole thing is timings fast. Not just the milliseconds, it is the whole durations part. Good. And because they are constant, we are pretty happy with that. Cool. Did I miss something in the chat? Exactly, when it is the next live stream? I don't know, maybe tomorrow, as I said, probably at 3 o'clock. I will let you know tomorrow in the morning, then I will create a live stream in thing here. It's like Apple naming, Pro, Max, Ultra, Extreme. I think for naming for times would be a good idea, actually. Good, but with that we are fast, that's already something, and we make that with the offset. Do we like that they are so far apart? I don't like that a lot, honestly. If I think about, we could improve that a little bit. So where do we have the dots again? Down here probably. No, this is the expanded part. This is the onboarding. Where are our dots? Dots, dots, dots. Progress indicators. Okay, let us quickly have a look. We have currently spaced evenly. So if I would remove that main axis alignment, they would be perfect. Now let's say in the main axis we center that. And instead of, yeah, what we can do is just going inside and give it a bit of, oops. Why is that looking so odd? Is this really the default? Much better. Okay. Bro, can I get your mail? Sure, flutterexp@gmail.com. So that's that. Use sizebox and not just main axis alignment. Same. I wouldn't do the that part. What I would do is just surrounding that animated box with a padding. Or can I not just say padding and then I give it a edge insets dot symmetric, and then we say horizontal with spacings of small. Broken. Type null. The subtype type null is not what? Did that again. So Interesting, that didn't work as I would expect. So the reason is symmetric, horizontal. So every one of them has now a small spacing, or did I misunderstand that? Extra large? No, it's ignoring it. It's margin. Is it margin? Yes, it's margin. Perfect. Oops. Oh, responsiveness is also a topic. Okay, but that's already it. And it looks quite good. Way better than before, I would say. Smooth animation between the things. I would even reduce it. So then we would need... Whoops. If we have an extra large, we have an extra small, which would be then the half of that, I guess. And then we can add that here. Ooh, look how it's animated. I like the small things. And now I put it back. Cool. We didn't see because of your image. Sorry for that. If you have a good solution how I can put on my Mac like static images that I would put there where my real image is, like an Android emulator or something, put it on top so that I can never put something on that place, it would be great, because if I do something there then I wouldn't see it either. But now I can put here small inside and you can see the animation that it's getting directly changed, and it looks quite nice. It's the small things in life, you know. But I think that looks quite the way we want it, right? Good. We have animations. We have that. The next part could be a next button underneath of it. Sign in, register. Then we have that. And I don't know if we want to have text or something on it. And I think the colors don't fit that well. I mean, for the buttons, it's a bit too heavy, I think. That purple, but I think that's something for the next time. So what I would do is now publishing the whole thing with the constants, that landing screen. Do we still print? No, that's fine. That's good. Here is some main axis alignment change. That's also fine. Perfect, perfect. We'll do that in the future. Some orientation, and there is some nice little things. Cool. And with that, we introduce the feature of no, not really a feature. This is more design. And this design is more, yeah, putting, no, how do we call that? And why did we do that? In order to please the eye of our users, we moved the, what do we call that? It's not a loading indicator, it is page indicator, progress indicator dots into the center of the yeah, shadow part. I think we need a name for that. Bottom sheet. Bottom sheet. No, bottom sheet. That's fine. Okay. Anyway, push. Good. With that, we're pushing everything in, and we did not do the translatable body yet. I think translations is also a topic for the next time. Where is here anything written from the stuff that we did? Okay, great stuff. Max, you did it perfectly. You write yourself some issues and tasks, but you don't hold on them. That's not a good thing. You should do that, or I should do that better. So this one is broken. How is that possible? Code coverage. Aha, I had there some changes already. That's unlucky. Okay, so I first have to fix the pipeline for the next time. But we can maybe create already the MR. And what would that be is like, it's 1. Unfortunately, we don't have a very good number system yet. So I guess... How do I see that? It's here. Can I get some kind of issue number? Yeah, it's just 1. That's unlucky. Because usually how I name the things is make bracket things saying 1. And this is mentioned for the issue number 1. And then we have user or create an onboarding screen. And then we can have thanks for contributing. I don't think we need that. In the description, we can add introduced the onboarding screen and animated progress dots. Free. How to test would be something that I would add. And then you can add something like, okay, here, first open the app, swipe between the pages, and expected result would be seeing 3 different onboarding pages, and the progress indicator moves accordingly. Good. Probably for the next time it would be also more, but now that is what we have. Type of change is a new feature. Oh, look at that. There is the icon that I searched. All the icons actually. Very good. So create MR, even though that we don't merge that today. Sorry for that, but that's already a good start. Now we can do it even better. We can label it a little bit because that is an enhancement. We can give it a project, that is this one. We can, yeah, the development is already featured. Yeah, and the next time we have also to write some tests and things. You know, Patil, thank you very much for joining into our memberships program. I mean, actually, I should give you the membership or program today, right? So much how you helped me today. Cool. So you saw everything now. That is working. We will see us soon again. Everything else, I promise you, we will see us very soon. And oh, the merge request is now also part of the tasks. Interesting. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't understand this board, honestly. It's too much stuff. Maybe we have to play a bit around until I really understand what happens here. But I see already there are some workflows. When set, item closed, item added to project, code changes requested, approved. Yeah, okay, anyway, but that's pretty cool. We have at least something. And if you feel free and keep some and want to help me here until the next live stream, what you could do is joining into that pull request here, for example, and adding comments, like going through the file changes. And if you have like, oh, this is really bad. Hey, Max, review. This is horrible. Please change, like, give some suggestions here. Say, okay, colors should be better. I don't know, this one, because it's the best color ever, because it would not work. And then you can add a single comment or start a review to that and give me some hints if you have a better idea. And then I will comment if I like that, and then we will also implement it the next time. Okay, now I talked a lot. Thank you very much for joining. Thanks, everyone. The GitHub link, of course, you will get that. You can find the pull request here. So that's that. There we go. And send. Cool. Else I would say till tomorrow in the evening. Thank you very much for joining, and we will see us tomorrow. Bye, everyone. And then also directly without broken stuffs in between.